There is a personality that actually loves worksheets, and this is it. Of the 5 different dispositions, the producing disposition is most likely to do well in a public school environment. And in a lot of ways, this is the easiest personality to teach to. It's the one that we've been trained to teach to. It's the one that we think of as good learners. It is in a lot of ways really, really easy. Okay, first off, the producing mentality does remarkably well in public school because they have all of these natural traits that work really well in sitting at a desk and accomplishing things on a schedule. They're organized, they're efficient, they love calendars, they love checklists, and it's interesting that a lot of people, because we went to public school, will have a lot of these characteristics. Even if we're not necessarily a producing disposition, we will have picked up these skills, and a lot of these skills are needed regardless of what happens in life. Okay. To be honest, every single personality has different things that we need to get along in life. And so we have to pick up a little bit of the skills in everything. This one is just kind of glorified and honored in our society today. They do really love the challenge of high expectations, that if you give them something that's really hard, they rise to it. They don't feel crushed by it. They don't feel overwhelmed. They just want to do it. They just want to accomplish what is in front of them, especially if it's hard. Only 8 to 16% of people are in this producing disposition. And so we have a tendency to say, well, that's the right disposition, but not very many people really fall in this disposition. So it's a good disposition. It's really wonderful. I don't really know how it feels because I don't have any kids who are like this, but it is a good disposition, and it's one that's really easy to teach too. This group of kids actually really love worksheets and to-do lists. They like being able to mark it off and say, I got it done. I really have strong tendencies toward the producer mentality. I don't know if that's because I just have it inside my personality or if I just learned these skills really well. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that to-do lists are really fun for me. And for a certain subset of people, it is a lot of fun to be able to have that list and mark it off and just know that we got it done. This group of people, kids, adults, whatever, have some areas of excellence that a lot of people recognize. They're really good with routine and with order and with procedures. They create systems, and they're really good at sticking with systems. They're very focused, they're thorough, they get it done. You know, they see, here's the beginning, here's the end, I'm not gonna quit until I get it done. So if you have a room that needs to be cleaned, they're really good at cleaning that room. If you have a project that needs to be done, they will go beginning to end and not even necessarily love the project matter itself, but they really love getting it done. There's a lot of satisfaction with completing whatever's in front of them. They love structure, and they really like following the rules. They really like knowing what those boundaries are so that they can feel safe and secure in here. So a lot of kids are going to rebel against a lot of rules and a lot of structure and feel confined and restrained inside of that. This personality needs it. They need to know that we're going to start at this time, we're going to stop at this time, and this is basically what's expected inside this time period. If you give these kids open-ended free time, it will stress them out. So it is really important that for these kids there is structure, and there is a to-do list, and there is some sort of idea of where we're going and what the objective is. They're also super efficient. They don't like to waste. They don't like to waste a lot of things. Like they're not probably going to want to waste paper or pencils, but they also don't like to waste time. There's a real sense of, what is the objective here? Why are we sitting and talking if the objective is to build something? Let's go build the thing we're supposed to build. This can be a problem when you're dealing with people and people are like, oh, I just wanted to talk. They're very oriented on getting whatever they're supposed to be getting done. And so driven, goal-oriented, these things all really describe this personality. Some of the challenges that they inherently face is that they don't like experimenting or exploring. They want to know what's the answer, what's the right answer. You know, they really like multiple choice or fill in the blank because it's right, and they know it's right, and there's a lot of satisfaction with watching it click in and fit perfectly. And so the messy world of experimenting and trying new things is really uncomfortable for them. They don't like having open-ended questions because they're never sure when they've arrived, and it feels like, did I win? I don't know. And that can be really discomforting for them. So they really like to have things in order, and so exploring can be very stressful to them. They also are not great at changing plans. It shakes them up quite a bit. They don't handle that very well. And there are different people who have different tolerances for it, but especially if you just wake up in the morning and say, surprise, we're gonna go on a huge vacation I didn't tell you about, for this particular type of personality, that is just stressful. They don't handle it well, they don't like it. They're often going to choose the rules over the people. So this is not to say that they don't like people or that they don't have good relationships. It's just if they say, I'm supposed to be doing this right now, and somebody else says, but you should come play with me, they're going to do what they're supposed to do. They want that rules, that structure, and they're less concerned about maybe offending somebody than they are about making sure that this gets done in the way that it is supposed to get done. Could be good, could be bad, just depends on what you're trying to accomplish there. And they also have a really hard time relaxing. This, more than anything else, makes me think I'm this personality. It actually takes a lot of effort to calm down, to let everything go, and to relax, because they have a constant running in their head. These are the things that I'm supposed to be accomplishing. These are the things that have to get done, and I didn't get it done, or I did, and then I have another list that's going for tomorrow, and did I get everything on the list that I'm supposed to? And so it's a constant sort of list running in the head that can be stressful and have a hard time relaxing. When it comes to teaching these kids, they are really good at putting things in order. I watched my sister-in-law once. This was so fascinating. She had a bunch of dice, and instead of just kind of throwing them in the dice box, she laid them out and she put them in order. And when she was all done, it made this huge triangle as she organized. Here's all the zeros on the top, and on the bottom half of the dice, it was 0 through, is it 6? I don't know. However many it is on the bottom, and then she did the next row, and then she did the next row all the way down, and it made this big triangle. And I thought that was so fascinating that given a choice of anything to do, she chose to sit down and organize these dominoes. This personality likes to put things in order like that. That's really satisfying. And that works for, inside school. You're talking about biology, organizing ideas, creating systems, understanding subjects and how subjects fit inside of each other. That kind of organization is really a powerful teaching tool. They like diagramming sentences, learning to alphabetize things, not just, you can have like sub-levels of alphabetize? I don't know how to say that word. You can have sub-levels where you have the first one, A through Z, and then inside C you can have, yes, but we have this other idea that has to be alphabetized inside that. So depending on how many details you want to get into. They like worksheets and they like workbooks because, again, there's the beginning, there's the end, I filled it out, I'm done, I'm satisfied. Timelines and outlines are really, really good ways to teach this group because you can see how things progress, how things relate and correlate to each other, and you can also see that we progressed in an outline. We're looking at this idea, which has the sub-ideas that support it, and then the examples, and then we come out to the next idea and work our way down. And so it's a very organized way of presenting ideas. Actually, very similar to this layout. Maybe I'm this personality. Also, keeping calendars, schedules, and due dates. They really like having all of these things organized in a way that they can see what's coming, what do I need to do right now so that I'm prepared for that in the future. So they're very good at saying, here's this big research paper, now I need to break it down into the little pieces so that I start here and just bit by bit get ready, and then I'm ready when it gets here and I'm not going to cram at the last second. Portfolios, scrapbooks, photo albums, flowcharts, timelines, rules of order and etiquette. This is so funny. I was fascinated by this idea of there are rules of etiquette of how you're supposed to interact with other people. That was interesting. I didn't realize that, but it was really fascinating to me. I also think that George Washington's rules of proper living or proper behavior or whatever is just such a great example of somebody who looked at a list and said, this is what I'm going to use to become who I want to become. And that's what this personality does. Research papers, graphs, outlines, these are all just different ways of seeing information in an organized fashion. A resume, a brochure, a recipe, beautiful pictures that are clean and orderly, all of these things. Like if you have somebody who has an artistic bent and they want to take pictures, they're probably going to want to make sure that they're balanced in that picture. So all of these things are an evidence of being organized in your head. Now, you want to motivate every single personality. This is one of our greatest jobs as a parent and as a teacher, is to take kids where they are and motivate them to become who they really ought to be. And recognizing this personality will help them become who they really can be with all these skills. So first off, acknowledge them for being organized, neat, and productive. Recognize that your room is clean. That's really wonderful. Your notes are you know where to find your notes, you know, your notes make sense and they actually outline what it is you've learned. That's really wonderful. Good job. Let them set goals. A lot of kids do not want to set goals. It's stressful and they feel like they can't handle it. These kids want to set goals. So give them plenty of opportunities to set goals as they move forward on their own path to becoming who they want to be. Reinforce it with verbal affirmation. You're doing great, you're doing amazing. And also stickers. These kids love grades because it shows them that they are succeeding, they have achieved the goal. And you know, for a lot of people, grades mean something else, but for the producing mentality, it is getting the job done. That grade says I did what I was supposed to do and I did it well. And so it's not so much how did I compare to other people, it's just I accomplished what the goal was. The producing mentality can be a lot of fun to teach because they are very orderly and they're very easy to make sure that we're pressing forward. You know, if you have a textbook, they're going to work through the textbook and be just marvelous at it. They can be really easy to teach using the methods that public school teaches and maybe the methods that are easiest for a mom to teach using. But this is also a really important personality to have in the world because as moms, we have to put things in order all the time and we don't have anybody to tell us what the order is. We have to create that order for ourselves. As homeschoolers, everybody's looking for schedules. Why? Because we have to create our own schedule, right? Everything we do, we have to bring order where there wasn't order before. And so these skills are really important whether you're this personality or not. But if you are this personality, you naturally have these. It can be a real benefit to other people that you can teach them how to do it or you can just do it for them. Whatever. These are really great skills. So recognizing all of the good that this personality brings can really help them to go on and become their very best selves and accomplish great things in their lives. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one.